Rolling.
Hi, it's Sandra from Curate Bee Digital. I'm the host of this new show called Good, Bad and the Viral. On my left, I've got Pat and from Curate Bee, who's the marketing guru, as well as Sean from the North Sydney Times as the editor. Now, why do you want to watch the show? Because we're going to talk about social media campaigns that go viral, but some of them work, some of them don't work, and we're going to analyze them, and we're going to find out how we can actually apply these learnings to ourselves or to our business. So if you want to know how to do a really good social media campaign, keep watching this show. Now, at the end of each campaign, which we'll talk about 3 of them, we're going to rate them. Well, I'm not going to rate them. The guys are going to rate them. If it's bad, it's a poo. If it's good, it's a star. So very simple. Now, the first campaign that we're going to talk about, it is a wonderful, wonderful message that's going out there. It's about feminism, and I am a self-declared feminist. However, this video actually would change our opinion on that. But let's have a look now.
Pretty. Pretty. What the fuck? I'm not some pretty fucking helpless princess in distress. I'm pretty fucking powerful and ready for success. So what is more offensive? A little girl saying fuck or the fucking unequal and sexist way society treats girls and women? It's our future. So listen up, grown-ups. Here's some words more fucked up than the word fuck. Pay inequality. Women are paid 23% less than men for the exact same fucking work. And women who graduate university with straight A's get paid as much as men who only got C's. So bad grades equal more bank just because you're a boy? Hello and hell no. Pay up, motherfucker. I shouldn't need a penis to get paid. Rape and violence. Fucked up fact. 1 out of every 5 women will be sexually assaulted or raped by a man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which one of us will it be? So how many more women have to get knocked down before society stands up and stops it? Here's a hot tip. Stop telling girls how to dress and start teaching boys not to fucking rape. We're glad a women's right to vote is here. But equality's next step is walking to the car without fear. Be pretty. So here's the tricky thing. Pretty, it's a compliment. But here's how this focus works to girls' detriment. Society teaching girls that our bodies, boobs and butts, are more important than our brains leads us to thinking our worth comes from our waistlines. My aspirations in life should not be worrying about the shape of my ass. So fuck focusing on how I look. And give me a book.
The continued sexism, girls and women's stale face. Instead of cleaning these girls' mouths out with soap, maybe society should clean up its act. This is what a feminist looks like. Girls just want to have fun, demental rights. $5 from each shirt goes to kick-ass charities that are fighting every day to make the world more equal for women and girls. Yo, bro, when you tell a boy it's bad to act like a girl, it's because you think it's bad to be a girl.
Fuck that sexist shit. Fuckhate.com. Swear jar. I don't give a fuck.
So guys, now that you've seen the video, what do you think?
A little bit interesting, quite out there. I don't particularly like it. I think they're trying to put a message out there, but they've gone about a horrible way of executing it.
So is it because of the language or the message or the girls in the terms of what they're wearing?
I think it's a number of things. I think it's the fact that they've utilized, I guess, young girls used profanity to put forward this message. They're trying to raise points that have been raised, in gender inequality in the past, but just the way they've done it is
sell t-shirts.
To sell t-shirts. And that's the
Get
other
this
thing.
right. They're selling
Absolutely.
t-shirts.
So the organisations that's made this have claimed, they are a for-profit organisation.
Yeah.
And they've done this sort of thing in the past, in the LGBT community, and now they're obviously using this as a way to...
What's LGBT community?
Just the lesbian, the gay and lesbian community,
okay.
And they've...
we gotta spell it out for our audience.
But yes, yeah. So they did something similar in the past with, to sell t-shirts, but obviously in this one they've gone quite to the extreme with feminism, and I don't know. I don't particularly think the campaign, viral as it is, because of the shock value, I don't think it's achieved the message that they wanted. And
I'm surprised feminist movements out there haven't responded more aggressively to this. And they haven't come out and gone, this is not feminism, this is wrong, don't buy t-shirts here. No one's really done anything that dramatic. I'm actually more concerned about what feminism is now these days and what it stands for.
Well, you know what, and I'm happy to sit down with you, Sean. and go through,
I know.
all that.
Let's not go there.
No, we won't go there. But the thing is that I'm wondering whether it's this, I mean, the message, yes, they have actually, if you take away the profanity, the message itself was very important. However, I'm not sure whether the people were upset because young girls were using their swear words, or the fact that the organization was for profit, or the fact that they were selling t-shirts.
Or the fact that most of their stats were wrong. So if profoundly that fact is that actually significant part of what they were selling or saying was incorrect and wrong, and the data they were using is just wrong, full stop. So that's my biggest problem. Like, if you're going to use viral campaigns, great. And this was mildly successful purely because it did sell t-shirts. Yes. But it created a wrong message. And you also got to be concerned about whether you want your brand to be associated to a message like that. And whether people are going to watch you and follow you in the future.
I think so. And you're right. Like, in terms of success for them, it's raised heads. It's got people going to their website and trying to see what they do. And they have sold t-shirts like this in the past.
Yes.
So the campaign has worked for them, but the approach, I think, is quite horrific in how they've...
Well, that's the thing. So, is whether the means justify, the outcome. And so they sold the t-shirt, they achieved the outcome or the goal of what was it that they're trying to do.
Drove traffic.
But negative publicity is also good publicity. They got the attention, they got people talking about it, but I guess everybody's disappointed. This is what I'm getting. Everybody's disappointed that the message, which is a really important message, wasn't really the core part of the campaign.
Yeah, I think they've used social agenda in an incorrect way and
Absolutely.
form. And
written on the back of it,
but
really.
they've written on the back and been successful as a business. And that's what viral marketing is.
Yeah.
In some form or way. You've got to say, like, as a business, they achieved their objective. They used, I think, a term, feminism, which is very up in the air at the moment in terms of who is, who isn't, what it is, what it stands for. Especially with our ministers coming out these days and declaring them non-feminists. Great job, I think. Why not? If you can get away with it.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean,
Let me
finish. But I'm just being a feminist. We'll have a separate discussion about feminism. But I think the other thing, what somebody had pointed out, one of the hosts that were analysing this campaign, was that they were actually trying to make feminism a me and he issue as opposed to trying to get everybody in terms of gender equality. Yeah. And that was wrong. That was the wrong approach. But now, Pat, what were you going to say?
Actually, just to write off what you said, when it comes to feminism, what Emma Watson did at the UN, that was a really good way to tackle such an issue. Where it's not about he versus she. It's more of both sides coming together because, as she kind of said, even men experience it to some degree, and it's working together to try and get equality. Whereas in this case, the campaign is completely just utilizing this whole feminism talk that's going on and using it for their own purpose, which is to sell t-shirts at the end of the day. Right. And it is working for them. Obviously, it's not the right way to do it, and it's you're saying that they're getting away with it, but I think if their name's out there, they keep getting a lot of societal backlash. Eventually, this is going to affect their business proposition, and it'll just be interesting to see what sort of campaign can next sort of work for them to continue this.
Maybe it appeals to their audience.
Well, if they're selling t-shirts,
then it does.
Yes.
And, if women are buying their t-shirts, you've got to ask yourself, what is wrong with you?
All right. On that note, we're going to rate now. While rating the campaign, can you also, just to help the businesses, what are the plus and minus of the campaign so that they can learn about it for their own business?
Wow, controversial.
All right, so
I'll start with me. Look, at the end of the day, how are we going to judge these things? Are we based it on social good or social values? Are we based it on business success? Well, from a social point of view, it's definitely a no-no from my point of view. It doesn't make us any better or any wiser. From a business point of view, my geez, wow. they're going to get away with it. They're going to sell T-shirts and they're building an audience. So it's a start from that point of view. And I think we've got to be more concerned about people who go there and react from it than the business actually creating the viral campaign. So from my point of view, if you're going to get away with it, keep doing it.
So it's a start.
Absolutely.
All right, now Pat?
I'm going to go with a poo, only because of the fact that you're right, in terms of the social value, it's obviously off the mark. As a business thing, it is working and it has worked for them, but it is something they have to look at and consider in the longevity of things, and having more campaigns that they will need to do to sell T-shirts. Can they kind of sustain this kind of marketing approach?
People seem to have a very short time span in what they remember these days, though.
Well, so you're a poo.
I am.
Okay. Now, we're on to our next campaign. We're going to talk about the Malaysian Airlines campaign. Now, with Malaysian Airlines, there wasn't such a video, but they have started basically, as we know, the problems that Malaysian Airlines was going through, and they've got a lot of empty seats. They decided to run a social media campaign calling My Ultimate Bucket List. Now, you guys sitting in your seat and thinking, well, that doesn't sound quite right, and there was quite a bit of backlash with that. So, Pat, we won't go into it, and we'll probably flash up a picture while we're talking about this. Pat, now, what do you think is wrong with this campaign?
I think, look, we've seen airline companies, travel agents use these kind of marketing approaches. Put Rome on your bucket list. The campaign itself makes sense, but the execution and timing, I think, for Malaysian Airlines has gone horribly, horribly wrong. Obviously, they had the two incidents happen just before this campaign was launched. And while I've read that the campaign itself, the approach was approved prior to the incidents, it's about being reactive and being being adaptive as a business to understand obviously your current situation and how you want to approach that. So I think someone in their marketing team should have probably nipped that one in the bud.
So you've been very diplomatic.
It's awful to put something like that out there, just considering the people affected by the tragedies and just the sort of brand awareness that had been generated based on what had happened.
Exactly, and I wonder, and we'll get to you, Sean, but I wonder that they're in the team room or boardroom or something like that, coming out with this idea and probably thought, wow, this is a great idea, and not realizing how wrong it is. And I can't believe there's not a single person in the room who thought the timing and everything is not wrong. But Sean, what do you think? Do you think it's a good campaign?
I think hashtag Malaysian Airlines, hashtag bucket list, hashtag give me some free flights, because you can't sell them anymore. Look, I don't know what they were thinking. It's just, the greatest thing about viral campaigns, the ones that really work and do really well, are those the ones that react so quick to do things and react to the situations or react to the environment in the business. You look at the iPhone 6 when everyone was like bends, right? All the ads that came out afterwards about the iPhone bending, and it's like our product has always bent, and and they've used that talk, that whole environment to create more marketing, more viralness.
Absolutely.
From that talk, right?
Yeah.
Malaysian Airlines needed to react in a different way to airlines going down, and doing something more focused on that. Instead, they took an old campaign that they already approved and ran with it, and didn't react positively to the environment that they were in. And so for any business out there, then when you're doing marketing, when you're doing viral campaigns, you need to think about what people are thinking about right now, what's trending right now, and how you can be involved in that trend to get motion with your marketing.
And I'm sorry, and you're absolutely right. So technical aspects of the campaign, like what you're saying, other airlines, if Qantas was running it, nobody would react it in that way, or the travel agency. So technically, the campaign was a good campaign with what was appropriate for the brand, the industry, and what they were trying to achieve. However, the timing of the campaign was absolutely off the mark, because they were coming off the back of obviously a couple of planes going down in a very sensitive time, and people are sensitive about their brand. Sorry.
No, you're okay. What was interesting is that obviously this was not meant to be a viral campaign. It was meant to be just a marketing competition. So I guess as a business, they could have considered a more sort of societal approach by having focus groups or some form of interaction with their customers to understand how this would be taken before they took it out to the public. Because, you know, I'm sure if they got 10 people in a room, they would have had this feedback.
I got a couple ideas. How about third time lucky? hey, come on! You know, let's run with it.
Well, okay. On that note, John, thank you. What we'll do is we'll get the guys to rate and you know, Malaysian Airlines, feel free to contact us and so that we can maybe come up with some ideas for your team as well.
Happy to submit.
We do recommend getting a focus group before implementing Sean's idea.
Yes. Okay, so Pat, your turn.
This one, look, it's a poo because it just terrible timing. I'm sorry, I want to give people a star, but yeah, just terrible timing. You know, good concept, but really should have thought about the timing and the people that were involved in the whole thing.
Yeah. And Sean?
Oh, fire the manager.
Jeez. I'm sure that's already happened.
Yes, he could be watching the show too. Okay.
Probably likes the third time lucky one.
Well, you know, let's hope that it seems like everything that they're doing is all going downhill, but let's hope that they get their turnaround with a good viral or social media marketing
You
campaign.
get free insurance every time you fly with Malaysian Airlines.
I don't know which insurance company is going to be happy with that.
Okay, so now on to our third and final campaign that we're looking at. So let's have a look at our screen and see this video. So now this campaign is actually an AT&T campaign working with trying to curb the texting while driving. Now I just wanted to point out that in the top right hand corner there was a little AT&T logo, so the branding from the company wasn't very I guess obvious from my perspective, but the message was more of a social cause as well. But I like to I'll let Sean go first now to see what you think about the campaign.
At the end of the day, the brand really just wanted you to be on your mobile phone longer and to actually use
cynicism.
Well, to be honest. Look, it's a good campaign. This is such a different campaign from the first one we talked about. This one almost has a social good. It's a bit of positivity about it. You know, and it got a lot of star attractions, a lot of celebrities backing it. And I guess that's the power of doing a social good campaign. You can get celebrities to easily get involved because they want to be associated with something like that. So if you're running a good viral campaign that has social implications, then your likelihood of attracting the right people to spread your message is going to be a lot stronger. And that's what made this campaign a lot more successful than a lot of other campaigns. Good. I mean, they got good traction, so good stuff.
That's it.
Yeah, I thought it was great, you know, what you said, you know, with trying to increase awareness through the celebrities, but also simple. It was really simple, you know, really just expressing that when you're behind the wheel, all you have to do is send #X, and that communicates the same thing, making it a universal thing, I guess, you know, really simple thing that can be used in any language to communicate that you're behind the wheel. And I think in terms of the branding, what you said is that AT&T, you know, they didn't want to really push it as an AT&T brand. You know, they've got the whole web campaign labeled as It Can Wait. And what I really liked is they're a mobile company. Really, you know, most marketing for them would really involve you trying to use their mobile phones more. In this case, they're telling you not to use it, but in the right way. And I think that actually helps with the brand image in a positive way. So really fantastic effort.
Why X though?
I think.
I don't know.
Sorry.
I was just saying it's because it's a single character, but you're right. Why X? And
Why not like #T or #A, like for
I
the
think
brand?
X. I mean, you've got the sort of X symbol to say, stop
No. Yeah.
or no.
Stop.
And I
okay.
think that may have been part of the factor as well, and also because it's a single letter, it's easy to kind of send on. And as opposed to having #it can wait, I'm driving now, or something along those lines. I think.
But I was
don't know.
thinking but I was thinking that #kiss. X being a kiss on what you do. I'm a chick, so I like that sort of thing.
Curious, you talk about the longevity of this thing. Do you think it's got good longevity? In terms of, will people in 5 years' time continue to use it, and will they continue to associate it to AT&T?
You know what I was thinking, and before you answer, because I was thinking that this will be like part of our modern language. That we are, how we've adapted quite a bit of modern language in our text with BRB, TGIF, all of that stuff.
What the?
I know, or WTF.
Well,
So #X, I can see it to be, and I think that's the goal of the campaign, is to use that as a form of new behaviour and new language. Now, I was surprised, with AT&T, they've put their logo at the top, and I'm wondering whether this can be a global campaign that other telecoms will try and adapt to it. But because they put their logo there, I think they might be reluctant. But if they didn't put the logo there, I wonder if other telecoms would have adopted that. What are your thoughts on that?
In terms of longevity, I think 5 years down the road, it's hard to sort of say it's going to be on top of mind, but it's got all the right ingredients for it. It's simple, it's small. What you said about it being almost an abbreviation of some sort that we kind of get it used to saying. I think that it's got the component, and I think it's one of those things where at the moment the campaign is getting a lot of self-generated stuff. People texting people. I've seen people Instagramming people, doing all sorts of posts with the #X, and so that keeps being generated through users. And if that keeps going on, then I think it's got the potential to keep happening over the course of 5-10 years, maybe.
Yeah.
And
I think it's a great initiative, and I think it's very well played. I'm curious. You talk about other brands running other things. I'm curious if Australian brands like the RTA, and I'm trying to think who else, the New Zealand Blitz Blues, who do the road stuff, whether they'll adopt it.
That's what would be interesting to see.
Because they adopt another brand's
What I find really interesting
strategy.
about viral campaigns is that once something works, people want to kind of copy-paste it, and I don't know if that's really going to help make it viral again.
No.
Sure, they can adapt and grow on it.
It's like when Apple came out, everything was this
Yes,
eye. And I was like,
yes.
But it's more about being creative in how you kind of share a message out. Look at Amy here in Australia, and they did the Rhonda and Curate campaign. That was completely out of the blue, and really strange way to market something out, but really amusing, really entertaining, and it stuck on.
And people still talk about it because I
Absolutely.
talk about Curate,
And they ended up together, didn't they? And
and we know and remember that.
it's more about that kind of being a bit more creative, thinking out of the box, and seeing how you can communicate your message, as opposed to seeing, AT&T's done this, let's adopt it, let's use it on our campaigns.
Well, but again, if we talk about the mechanics of the campaign, you have the brand being very subtle about themselves.
Yeah.
They're being altruistic because they're doing it for a social cause, and they were purely talking about how to do something, because they're being altruistic because they're not using it to generate revenue for their brand, in which they're supposed to. They're doing the opposite, and that's why I guess the message was great. People are paying attention because they're doing something that people think they're doing it for the love of the people as opposed to for the profit type of activity. Now, is that one of the inherent components that you need in a social media campaign for it to work?
I think rather than putting it in the way that, rather than spending money on trying to make money but spending money on people, I think it's more about connecting with the people.
Yeah.
And that's it. So you can spend money to connect with people and in an effort to make money, but at the end of the day, if you can engage the individual buyer in some form, rather than just saying, here's my mobile phone, buy it and use it, then I think you're getting there.
Yeah.
I think some studies are actually showing that people want to be associated with certain brands. It's this whole I want to buy from brands who are environmentally friendly. I want to buy brands. I want to buy from brands who have mixed genders on their boards or whatever it is. I think there's that desire to be associated with brands and products that do the right thing. Now, I think it's a growing trend.
Yeah.
And I think that's hopefully a trend that will continue to grow in the right way. I think what they've done here is that same thing. I want to be associated with a mobile carrier that does the right thing socially and that way orientated. So to me, I think it is a subtle marketing ploy, but I think it's a subconscious one that attracts to people who go, I want this brand is something that I think is, I approve and I connect with. And I think that will win over some people's hearts and will generate income or profitability in the future.
And so you can see the difference between the two campaigns. The first campaign was all about driving revenue. Short term, but also using a social cause.
Yeah.
And second...
let's not use it exploiting. Let's say exploiting.
And then the last campaign, the third one, is also about a social cause, but it's about subtle, and then the brand for-profit company not making it obvious that they're trying to generate revenue. So it's very interesting, when you kind of look at the comparison with that.
Yeah. I was just going to say that I think with what you said about people wanting to associate with those kind of brands that do the right thing, I think that that's always been there. It is increasingly growing, but I think what's influenced it a lot is the fact that we live in a more open world now, with everything being digital, with everyone being able to share their thoughts. Yeah. It's not as easy for a brand to get away with something where they're not considering their customers.
Yes.
And I think that's the reason I think these kind of campaigns need to be put in their general marketing strategies, to think about the people, and as opposed to sort of just trying to sell something.
Totally.
And that's the thing, and I guess that's in order to create the brand loyalty. From summing up from what you guys are saying, is that you have to get the right timing, you have to connect to the people, so that you get your message across and not be so obvious that you're there to just
don't
achieve
use potty mouth children to do it.
Yes, or a short-term profit outcome. Okay, so on that note, now how would you rate this campaign?
Oh, look, you can't do anything wrong with it. It's really a good campaign. It's good traction. It's working out there. It's a star from me, and I hope it lives long and prospers.
You're going to rate it a star as well, but I do have a question for Sean. Are you going to #X when you get in your car next?
Thankfully, I don't drive. No, I do drive. No, I think I might. I want to know if I can #X girlfriend or wife when I'm tired of my wife talking so much as well. I want to know if I can, extend that way.
Extend the purpose of
the purpose of this.
Don't text me or talk to me at this
Exactly.
stage.
I think you're going to be in trouble today.
Always.
All right. So, thank you for joining us for today. Now, all of these 3 campaigns, we got that from we have a new social channel, which you can see the link in the YouTube description. So feel free to have a look at there and suggest any suggestions that you would like us to maybe talk about it. But thank you for being with us today, you
Thanks,
guys.
Sandra.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching the show. Talk to you next time.
Yeah, we cut.
Was that all right?
Done.
I hope I wasn't too controversial.